Not coming, bro.
Kick that bitch.
Don't kick that bitch, bro. Not coming, bro.
Kick that bitch.
Don't kick that bitch, bro. Not coming, bro.
Kick that bitch.
Don't kick that bitch, bro.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 7. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. Shalom, shalom. I want to start with praises, glory, and honor to the Lord YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. My name is Brother Napak. I'm from the camp prophets in Babylon, down here in Tempe, Florida. And I want to give the honors to elders and apostles of GREATTMILLSTONE who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, to the ones listening in. All right, and I want to get into a quick lesson. The video I just displayed on the screen. And it shows, this guy, right? Well, I mean, you can read the title. He caught, the woman that he was dealing with, all right, at the house of his homeboy, okay? And it's supposed to be, I guess, something to laugh at and, giggle about, but, I really find nothing really funny about this situation. But, it's just, Jake, going through the curses, all right? But I also looked into it more because a lot of times TikTok, you have all types of, BS and people just playing around just to get views. But, I looked more and deeper into the story. She explained everything on how it happened. It's the Jake woman that's recording this video here explained it. And I'm not really going to get her explanation on it. It's pretty long, but she had made an explanation video right here. And she was basically saying everything that happened. She also, gets sidetracked a lot. So just to sum it all up, this guy, caught his girlfriend's location at his homeboy's house, and he ended up going there, knocking on her door, as you see on the video there, until, the mother came down and answered the door and started cussing and yelling at them, and the whole time his woman's in the back room, having sex with another man, all right, committing adultery, okay, which was his, quote-unquote homeboy, all right, one of his friends of the world. These niggas are of the world, man. So this is what you, receive, all right, from the worldly niggas that's in this world, man. For the, the worldly woman that you deal with. Your friends laughing at you, all right? They take it as a joke, and your spirit's crushed, okay? Okay, so they end up never getting to go in to, see the woman or whatever, but he called her, and, she says she had picked up and giggled on the phone and hung up on some demonic shit, man. Okay, so, and here's the video, the girl's name. If brothers want to go, to this page and go watch it, see the full story. But I'm not really going to get much into, the video of her explaining everything, all right, for the sake of time. But, I brought the scripture out and I'm bringing it right back out again. It says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. All right, so that's how evil wife is. When you deal with a woman, all right, and she becomes your wife, and you pop that woman, she becomes your wife. So that's your property, man. Okay. She, you ultimately, that is, your woman. All right. So to see another man with her is like seeing another man vandalize your property. All right. For example, you have a car and someone's, putting their hands all on it, kicking it, hitting it. All right, basically destroying your property. And that's what this man had to deal with, with his own woman. Okay? Is, this woman, who was supposed to be with him, it was with his friend. And that's why the scripture says, he that have hold of her is as though he held a scorpion, because a lot of these women are poisonous, man. All right? They're worse than poison. They do certain things that will destroy your whole life. Just as a scorpion, hitting you with its tail, it brings poison into your body, and, it results in death. A lot of, man's fate result in death after dealing with evil women because of these women, how these women treat men and traumatize them. These things put men in a state of great grief. All right. So ultimately, a lot of men's off themselves and their families and the woman and all types of things because these women are evil, man. Okay? It goes on, it says, a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad cause of great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. So a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad, a woman that's just out there, all around, she been around, she doing whatever she want. All right, cause of great anger. Okay? And she not going to cover her own shame. So when the dude called her, she ended up laughing in his face and hanging up. She wasn't even trying to cover her own shame. She knew what she done, and she knew what she done was wrong and evil. And it was a demonic-ass laugh, man. All right? I didn't hear the laugh, but I can visualize it in my mind. And, that laugh was demonic, man. To laugh at somebody in a situation like that after you did them that dirty, it had to be demonic. All right? And that's why a lot of these women are. They have demons on them. All right? They seek out pleasure of this world. Okay? And no matter what they're going to get, they're going to do what they got to do to gain that pleasure, whether it's from another man or not. It says the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. All right? So the whoredom of a woman may be known through her haughty looks and eyelids. This is how you choose. All right? Or if you're looking at a woman, you're dealing with a woman, you're supposed to try her, man. Just like the scripture says, try your friend, which is the scripture I got as well. But the woman that you sleep next, you plan on sleeping next with, or popping, try that woman, man. See who she is. Evaluate her and examine her. Okay, if she got that haughty look, all right, those eyelids of whoredom, okay, dressing as a harlot, that woman, you 9 times out of 10 you do not want. Okay, she doesn't dress like that for no reason. She doesn't have those haughty looks for no reason. All right, just as a predator. All right, let's say a snake or something. All right, a lot of times predators will, before as they prey on, their prey, they make themselves look harmless and beautiful and nice for the prey to go around them and see nothing wrong with it. It was one animal specific. I don't remember. All right, but it's a specific animal that does that a lot. Okay, is they will blend in with certain things and make themselves look natural and harmless until you get close to it, till the prey gets close and it kills them. And that's what these women do, is they paint themselves as harmless and innocent. They try to make themselves seem innocent. So when you first get with them, it seems like a dream. All right, but ultimately it ends in a nightmare. And that's because the woman you deal with is evil. The woman you deal with, she has demons on her, and she doesn't care. All right. And a lot of times when you look in a woman's eye, that's how you can tell, man. That's why the scripture says the haughty looks and eyelids. Because you look in a woman's eye, you can see her whoredom. You can see how much of a whore she was or she is. Okay? It's in those eyelids, man. Okay? You can tell a lot from a person's eyes. All right? It says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And that's ultimately all these women now. They become shameless. And the man wasn't in the house to keep her straightly. All right? To discipline her. You know, the woman will allow these damn Jake women, all right, to roam around the streets. All right? Wouldn't care what she would do to what's the word for it? They used to, the older, generation, they used to say damn, fast. She being fast, man. Meaning she's going around the whole city being fast, being a whore. Okay? And they let, nowadays they allow these young girls to be fast, man, to do what they want. All right? There was times where I would, look outside and I see my neighbor's daughter, sneaking in a whole bunch of men in her window. And our window was like, because it's my neighbor and we ain't have no actual gates. You look out your window in your room, their window of their room was right outside. I'm hearing shit, people going back and forth and leaves crushing, and I'm thinking somebody walking around my house. And I look outside and, it's this damn whore. All right? Bringing in man after man, and they just sneaking through the window, and the mother finally caught on and found out and kicked her out, man. All right? Because that's shameful, man, and these women have no shame to even, cover it anymore. Okay? Now, I want to get this as well, just to go into this Ecclesiasticus. So, this is Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7. So like I said, just as you will prove your friend, you will prove your woman. But, this is more so going to this nigga's friend. It says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. Okay, so when you get a friend, we get men in this truth, brothers in this truth, they become proven before, be hasty to credit that man. They become proven, okay? But in this world, man, niggas will get friends and they don't really prove them, and they put all their trust into this nigga, not knowing this nigga was a complete demon. All right? This nigga could care less, all right, about boundaries, all right, or respect for you. But in this truth, you gain men, all right, that has to, that follow those boundaries and that respect. And it's a requirement to follow it. But, we willingly too. Because we see how wicked it was to do the things, do those things in the world. Man, that was never, betrayal, all right, snaking. That was never a thing we look at and be impressed by in the world. Okay? So that was, we understood, the brotherhood. Brothers that came to us truth, you understood the brotherhood and respect and, being loyal to your friend. But these niggas of the world, not so much. It says, for some friend is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. All right? So you got to watch the man you have around you. All right? Because Jay had this dude around him, and this dude started, popping his woman. And you don't know how many times he popped her before that. All right? It could be the first time. But, you don't know how many times he popped her after that. Moral of the story is this nigga did not give a damn, all right, about his friend's boundaries and respect. Okay? And that's what, that's what, the spirit of, that's the spirit of these niggas, man. Okay? That's the spirit of these niggas. It says, again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue the day of thy affliction, but in thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. It says, damn. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thy enemies, and take heed to thy friends. All right, so you gotta be able to, take heed until you know who your friends are, who the men are around you. Is this man really round with me for him? Or he's just here to be at the table to eat? Okay? Is he coming around just to be a companion at the table, man? Okay? It goes on, it says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that have found such, he that have found such an one hath found a treasure. So yeah, man, a friend, is a strong defense. Okay? To have a faithful friend is a strong defense. It helps in the time of trouble. It helps in the time, of catching hell. And that friend is there always to help. But you got niggas out there that's trying to find they every way, an inch leading into destroying you, or backstabbing you, or crossing you, man. Okay? So you have to take heed of our friends, man. All right, so I'm gonna just play this video back, and I'm gonna leave that right there. All right.
He's not coming, bro.
Kill that bitch.
Don't kill that bitch, bro. He's not coming, bro.
Kill that bitch.
Don't kill that bitch, bro.
Shalom, Maki. BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Once again, the bonus elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach you well. Peace and blessings to all full light.